dilemma determining which approach to adopt. But I said to myself that we shouldn't make it too academic. We should make it as interactive as possible. And that is what we will try to do. I took note of something when the introduction was going on. Although Andrew did not tell us what he's studying. Andrew, what I studied.
Anyway, my name is Andrew Adebola. I study philosophy at the PhD level at ARUNSA University. And in my second year on my PhD right now. And
okay. Well, thank you very much. I took note that we have somebody studying international relations, about 3 people studying global health, global public health. I think one is in bioscience. We have also a nursing student. Of course, maybe about 2 or 3 other people joined after the introductions were made. And I really want to start with a question that given our various disciplinary backgrounds, what do we see in future for ourselves as individuals? What are our goals? What are our aspirations? Because that's something very important. It's something that we all need to be clear about. And it's also noteworthy that all of us attending this event today are studying at the postgraduate level. And at that level, one should be quite clear about what one wants to achieve. And for that reason, I would want each one of us to maybe take a short while and try to identify or remind ourselves of what we really want to achieve, what our goals are, what our set objectives are, and where we see ourselves being in the next 5, 10, 15, 20, and more years to come. I will not ask us to tell us what we want to do, our goals, our objectives, because I appreciate that some of these can be quite personal, and for personal reasons, might not want to share them on a platform as this. But it's a question that I'd like each one of us to grasp and try to provide some answers to individually. So I'm just going to pause for a minute or so to allow us to think about that. And if you want, you might want to take a jot of something and list this out for yourself. Okay, I think I will proceed. I want to congratulate all of us for the privilege we have to be studying in the UK. There's something I tell people in your category, that if you count yourself privileged, because millions of Nigerians, millions of Africans would do almost anything to have opportunity like you have now. And then that leads to a very important consideration, which is the crux of the matter today and what should be central to our discourse. And I was quite enthralled when I received an email from Adebola earlier today. I think it came in today, really. Something about the theme of our discourse today. Well, it gives a brief description, and I'd like to read what he wrote, what he sent to me. It says that the UK partners in multi-billion pounds deals with Nigeria and Africa in general in various fields of life. The first thing I want us to take note of is that a lot of activities, a lot of businesses, a lot of profitable ventures are ongoing across disciplines. And that was why I took note of the disciplinary differences represented here today. And I'd like each one of us to also begin to consider this question. Given my disciplinary background as a philosopher, as a nurse, as a bioscientist, as somebody in the global health, public global health sector, and whichever other discipline is represented here today, what can I use my skills and learning? What can I use my expertise to achieve? One, for myself. Two, to benefit Nigeria and Africa. And three, to foster a vibrant collaboration between the UK and Africa, and of course, special emphasis on Nigeria, or perhaps any other country that we have vested interest in, or that we might want to represent. Let me continue to read. It says that if we do not get involved, we will just be hearing about the money figures and names people make from it. If it is our aim to utilize the opportunity being in the UK provides us with on this, then this is a program for us that is designed to unlock such goals as Nigerian students in diaspora to the opportunities this land provides us to benefit our journey here, our home country, and further enhance the relationship between our home country and the country of study, the UK. And the reason I asked was the initial question, what are goals? What are set objectives? I don't want to be presumptuous, but I can imagine, I would say the first one with my tongue in my cheek, that some of you might be thinking that, okay, by the time I complete my studies, I'd like to just go back to Nigeria and start working, look for a job, and settle down in Nigeria. You know, I said I'm going to say that with a tongue in my cheek, because I know that what is most prevalent now is for people to want to either stay back in the UK, or perhaps from the UK, move on to wherever in the world they have opportunities, but not Nigeria. Many of you, I suspect, will probably want to have some dealings with Nigeria, but perhaps right now, the last thing you want to do is to go back to the country to stay or to leave. I'm not going to say statistics, I'll just speak generally. And but if you want to disagree with me, you might say so as we proceed or when the opportunity comes up. Now, I want to say that being in the UK is a product of the process of internationalization of higher education. The process of the internationalization of higher education. Now, I could go on and on to define what internationalization of higher education is, its advantages, its challenges, its disadvantages. But I wouldn't want to belabor that point because I don't want to be theoretical today at all. I want to be simple, I want to be practical, and I want it to be also interactive. I'm going to open the floor shortly, but first I want to lay some things bare. Let me give an example. We're now in November. In September, I was in Germany for a program involving a project on employability that I am on. And during the program in Germany, a number of people were invited to speak to us. Who are these people? Young men and women who concluded their postgraduate studies either at the master's or the PhD level in Germany in the last 10 years, and who have successfully started international businesses. Young men and women who have started successful international businesses going on between Germany and their different home countries. And perhaps Adebola will want to pay attention to this. Now, one of the young men and women that spoke at that conference did a first degree in philosophy, second degree, I think, in international relations, then did a PhD in philosophy in Germany. But as we speak today, the young man has 3 international businesses representing various organizations from Germany in his home country. And the other one that I find very, very intriguing is a young lady from Vietnam. She told us that she had many startups. 5 have grown to the level of international businesses. And she's making a lot of money. She's not resident in Vietnam, in Germany. She's resident in Vietnam, representing different German countries, different German companies in Vietnam. What am I leading to? By the process of globalization, the interface across the North and the South, between or among virtually all the countries of the world, have greatly increased. A lot of economic exchanges going on, a lot of intellectual exchanges going on, a lot of partnerships, collaborations are going on. And it's important for us, each one of us, to see how we can leverage on this by, first of all, looking at ourselves, given your background, given your skills and competence, given your skill sets, both technical and soft. And of course, I also want to throw in what we refer to as our digital skills. What can I do? But apart from considering your own background, you also need to find out what works and how things work in your own immediate environment. For now, you are in the UK to study, but I want to challenge you that in as much as you should pay optimal attention to your academic work, I imagine that many of you, apart from studying, you are also engaged in some jobs. You are employed one way or the other. But ask yourself, do you see any future in that job? Is this something you can do for life? Is this something that you can plan on? Okay. Okay. The host muted me. Is this something you can plan a future on? Is this something that can make a significant impact on your life, on your country, and in the world? If yes, then you might want to continue along that trajectory. But if your answer is no, then you need to begin to educate yourself about how things work in this country, how you can leverage on the structure and operational dispensation in the UK, and how you can benefit from it optimally and also benefit from the existing relationship with your home country. As a director of international programs in the University of Ibadan, I observed something then. Many universities from all over the world, from Europe, from the US, from different countries in Asia, would come to Nigeria seeking partnerships. But what I observed is that many of them were primarily interested in attracting students to the institutions in the diaspora. Let me put it like that. And I know that many of their former students serve as their representatives, serve as their advisors, and help them to interface between their institutions and the countries from which or from where these students come. But for that to happen, while you are studying, you must have positioned yourself properly. You must have represented yourself. Let me say you must have presented yourself very well and also represented your home country very well. And I want to deviate a little bit to tell us that it's quite unfortunate that all over the world, we as Nigerians do not have a very good reputation. We are known for very negative things, but we are not all bad people. We are people of value. We have people of esteem. We have people of high moral standards. And one of the things that all of us should determine to do is to, at least as far as we are concerned as individuals, change that narrative. So much so that whenever anybody, anywhere in the world, might have reasons to say negative things about Nigerians, they should be able to say of you that you are an exception. And there's no way you can do that if you don't, day by day, make a good presentation of yourself, not just in terms of your academic work, which is very, very important. I want to challenge all of you. I don't know how you're performing right now in your studies, but you should have the objective of excelling. I'll give you two examples of people I know personally. Of course, both of them are in Ireland right now.
Can so determined to say to yourself, you want to go back to school, or by yourself?
Well, I think somebody needs to be muted. Okay, maybe the person is muted already. All right, we can continue. I arrived in the UK on the 5th of this month. So I think sometimes last week, I received a call from one of these two gentlemen, and he just told me that, well, that he's gotten a job in his university where he studied for his PhD in Ireland, Aberdeen. Sorry, Scotland. Yes, Ireland, Aberdeen, and that the offer is for £45,000 per annum. The other person is in Edinburgh, and he has also been retained by his university, but at the same time, he has projects, research projects going on between his research team in the UK and in the US. He has clearly cut a niche for himself in the research and academic world. And even now, as I speak with you, he is the PI of a team that won a TED Fund grant back in Nigeria. So therefore, the fact that he's establishing himself gradually in the UK, he still has a foot back in Nigeria, he's still networking with people in his field back in Nigeria, and also impacting them there, assisting them there, and also sharing from his wealth of experience as far as his learning in the UK is concerned. Some 4 years ago, when I was still serving as a director of the international programs, there was this young lady. He did his master's from the University of Ibadan in mathematics, and he came to the UK. She came to the UK on a PhD work, and she got some scholarship. She got some funding, and she came back to the University of Ibadan to organize a series of workshops. She came with a team from the UK, funded, came back to the University of Ibadan to organize workshops for postgraduate students in the field of mathematics. I chose to give these examples, citing my information concerning people that schooled in Germany and also in the UK, just to stimulate our interest and curiosity, to challenge us to appreciate the fact that people are doing a lot. And I dare say that despite the various problems that seem intractable confronting Nigeria and Africa today, one thing that is on the global plate right now is that in another 25, 30 years, Africa will be the destination for the world. There's something that Africa has that many other continents do not have, perhaps with the exception of a place sorry, perhaps with the exception of Asia and perhaps China, is population. Africa has a vast market, and many organizations in Europe, in the US, they are anxious. They are anxious to have an inroad into the African market and benefit from it. That's the truth of the matter. And as people located in the UK right now, with your roots in Nigeria, it's important that you educate yourself on what is going on in that regard. Of course, it's an offshoot of globalization. Even what I had highlighted earlier as internationalization of higher education in itself is an offshoot of globalization. You're in the UK right now, and I'm sure you know that this year, this 2022, Africans, especially Nigerians, have more or less invaded the UK. Many people have come into the UK on the platform of student visa. And you and I know that many of them have chosen to come to the UK, not just because they want to undertake one course of study or the other, but because they want to escape from the socio-economic, the socio-political, and the security challenges of the country. But mark something. The UK is giving this opportunity out, not just because they like Nigerians, not just because they want you to come to their country, but it's simply because they see it as a means of boosting their own economics. Their own economies. And maybe I should ask a question. I will direct my question to Oyedola. Oyedola, from your own experience, what do you think is the average fee a postgraduate student pay in the UK now? An international postgraduate student.
That's about the average fee is 13,000.
13.
Yes.
Okay. Because my son is in Adebola, and I have to pay £17,370.
There are schools who pay even 20,000, 30,000.
I know,
But
of course.
on the average,
of course. Now, this is where I'm going to. You know, that's outside the living cost. Now, first imagine the inflow of funds into the UK in the form of school fees. And hey, hang on a minute. Many of you have to work while you're here. But I hope you understand that the bulk of the money you earn here stays here in the name of living expenses. So we need to play smart. Because whether I like it or not, the British society is benefiting tremendously by you being here. That's the truth of the matter. If it doesn't pay them, they wouldn't do it. And leveraging again on my experience, when people come to see me, either as Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, or when I was the Director of the Office of Mental Health Programs, with requests for collaboration with my university there. And the interesting thing is that most times when they come with nice offers. They come with very juicy prospects. But I always ask that, A, for these guys to travel all the way from their countries to Nigeria, they must have perceived benefits in view. So I asked myself that, okay, if I to go ahead with this arrangement, how do I ensure that my university also benefits optimally? You know, globally today, there is an imbalance of trade between Africa and the rest of the world. Of course, Nigeria, for instance, various countries in Africa engage in all kinds of economic interactions with other countries of the world. But you find out that in the final analysis, the benefits that come to African countries are marginal. The real benefits go to their partners. But right now, the challenge for you is to seek to understand the dynamics at play in your chosen field and begin to identify how you can leverage on the dynamics to benefit your country and also yourself. Build a career, do something that will endure and that will be impactful. But for that to happen, the first thing you need to do is to have a good understanding of what is going on. And of course, as far as that is concerned, I probably cannot be very, very specific because of the diverse dictionary backgrounds that is represented here. But certainly, there is no discipline that cannot be leveraged on. Perhaps the most theoretical discipline represented here right now is philosophy. But I'll give you an example of somebody in philosophy that started a company that became an international company in Germany. And interestingly, in Germany, the center that hosts my project, which is in entrepreneurship, is headed by a director, one Professor Don Berger. He's German. But I was shocked when I found out that his first and second degrees were in microbiology. But as far as his university is concerned, he has been able to spearhead the establishment of over 150 startups, with about a third of these being very, very successful and having grown to the level of international organizations. And many of them were started with important inputs from international postgraduate students from all over the world. So, having said all this, the challenge for us is to be very decisive, to be self-driven, and also to be visionary. And we shouldn't just restrict ourselves to our academic activities in the UK for now. Yes, it's important to pay attention to that. It's important for you to engage in various jobs that will keep you going. But then you need to evolve visions for yourself. Visions that would become global successes. And of course, I hope you also appreciate the fact that one thing about internationalization of higher education today is to make beneficiaries global citizens. And what do you mean by global citizens? People who can function effectively, not just in their home countries, anywhere in the world, and also across the world. And that is something you also need to begin to work at, becoming global citizens, developing intercultural skills. And may I also challenge us? Well, this is what I actually tell people back in Nigeria, that the way the world is going, mastery of a second or a third language is very, very important. And that's why sometimes I encourage people not to come to the UK for postgraduate studies, but to go to Germany, to go to France, to go to China, because there they'll have an opportunity to pick a second language. And the reason that is important is that when it comes to certain international opportunities, having a second language is very, very key. Of course, I appreciate the fact that our acumen for languages differ. Some people can pick up new languages very easily, but for some others, it might not be so easy. But I think it's just important for me to just make mention of that whenever an opportunity comes up for us to pick a second language, please do. Oftentimes, it opens doors. And I think I'll pause at that point and I will ask for comments and questions.
Thank you, sir. Really appreciate that. Wonderful eye opener. Elisha, Elisha, are you there?
Yes, I am.
So, please, can you take over the moderation? If there are people that with questions or clarification on things, maybe we can have them in now.
Sorry, I didn't get that clear. Network is.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I said you should take over the moderation now.
Yeah. Okay.
If there are people who have questions and then clarifications, they can always make it right now.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for the lecture. And if you have any question, you could drop it on the chat and I would read them out, or we could just raise a hand and I would hit the mic so you'd ask your question. I don't know if there's anyone with a question. I'm on the chat. If you could drop it there, or you could just signal with the raise of ask a question. Well, while we await, I have a question, sir. And for someone like me, because I studied languages in my first degree, I majored in French, and now I'm doing international. My ultimate goal is to get into the academic, to hopefully become a lecturer someday. And though one of my little problems now, I would say, is choosing, which to go for exactly. If it's to continue in the line of foreign languages, I'd probably go back to French and do maybe and literature in French, PhD, or just stick to international relations and global politics as I'm doing now for my master's. And also the community that would best fit, because I've spoken to some other academicians like yourself, and some have said, okay, leave the UK, some Canada is better because the French and English. So sometimes, you just, as a young, person, you just stuck in between so many choices and you are scared which one exactly to make, especially as it regards academic career. So I don't know if there's any word of advice that would help to clarify that little dilemma of mine.
Thank you very much. What I normally advise is that individuals should first of all identify, and having identified, follow your passion. If you have a passion for academics, go for academics. If you have a passion to work in the area of diplomacy, then begin to take steps in that regard. And that perhaps will determine certain steps that you will take. For instance, if you should, after this program, go back to specialize more in the area of the French language, or if you want to continue in the area of international relations. But one thing is clear, even in the domain of international relations, your knowledge of French will certainly put you in a good state. But what I will tell you for now is that as far as your academic enterprise for now is concerned, excel there. Give it your best. Try to distinguish yourself. Because one thing I've noticed in my interaction with Europeans, as a matter of fact, with the West generally, is that when they see talents, they want to hold on to it. They want to take advantage of it. If they see that you are good at what you do, they want to give you opportunities. So sometimes you don't even chase opportunities. They place them on your table because they see what you can do and they appreciate the value you can add to them and to their system. It's just like right now, the British government, so to speak, opening up its doors for Nigerians to come in to study in larger numbers than ever before. It's simply because they need our money. That's the truth. And if they also see that you have a skill, you have a capacity, you have a competence that they can make good use of, they certainly will do that. And of course, one thing is clear, wherever we are located anywhere in the world, even if we don't go back to Nigeria to live or to work. I was reading a few days back that, if I remember rightly, maybe about $20 billion are remitted back to Nigeria from Nigerians in diaspora. That's funds from various parts of the world going back into the Nigerian economy. That's also a way of boosting the economy back home. Last Saturday, exactly a week ago, I was speaking at an event also, and somebody told me he lives in the UK, but he has a farm back in Nigeria. He was talking about 200 hectares and was telling me all the activities going on there. That certainly will provide jobs for people back home and will also augur well for the economy of Nigeria at the end of the day. But of course, we have our issues, we have our problems. For those in the agricultural sector back in Nigeria, there are also problems from the Fulani headsmen. But certainly, we pray that this issue will be a thing of the past soon enough, and we will have a much better Nigeria. But for now, you guys need to consolidate yourself, consolidate your positions, because it's only when you have consolidated yourself, that you will be in a position to contribute whatever quota you can to the progress of the country. So It's up to you, my dear friend, to decide on which one you want to do, whether go into international relations or go back to your friend language. But like I said, follow your passion. Do what you feel will interest you the most, because passion drives success. If you're not passionate about what you do, you're not likely to succeed at it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. So is there anyone else with a question? Like I said, you could drop it on the chat or...
While waiting for
No,
others, anyone who has a question, I have a question of my own. On this, thank you, sir, for attending to our questions and then for your time, sir. This country seems to be tricky when it comes to, before, we have that adage, the popular saying that the money in Lagos lives in Lagos. And you pointed that right now, just that same adage, that the money in UK lives in UK. So the system seems to be tricky in making us work, and then whatever we earn still ensure that larger part of it is retained here. Going by that, and we know we are looking for a way to get out of that kind of system, so as for us to become something for ourselves, for our nation, where we're coming from. So, but people who still have these challenges when it comes to sorting out bills, the humongous bill that the environment placed before us, coupled with the responsibility we have at home. And like we normally say, the apathy that there has been created in us from where we're coming from, that we Nigerians, since the modern Nigeria does not take care of its children, these children are always looking for ways to survive on their own. And that has even followed us down here to start looking for how we can survive. That survivor is now the major target, rather than looking for that way to come on something for ourselves, for our country, and then how can we escape that kind of system that we are confined into? Do you have any suggestion on this, sir?
Well, I'll tell you something that a friend of mine told me many years ago, about 20 years ago. Interestingly, he's back in Nigeria now, but he stayed here in the UK for, I think, about 15 years or so before coming back to Nigeria. He said that he had a policy while in the UK never to make use of any credit facility, that he would stick to only what he can afford. Yes, the bills there can be intimidating. I was given a brief analysis to somebody not too long ago. Now, okay, as a student here, you can work for 80 hours a month. Am I right?
We are given 20 hours in a week.
I said 80 hours a month.
Okay, yes, exactly, sir.
On the average, 80 hours a month, 20 a week. I know. And depending on where you are staying, the average income for most of these jobs vary from £10 to about £13 per hour. Am I right?
You're right, sir.
Okay. And I said, let's do a bit of analysis. On the average, if you do 80 hours a month, you probably will make about £800. But of course, I know what some of our guys do here. The trick is to pick up jobs that will give you 80 hours, which will be paid into your account. Then you can choose to pick some other jobs using the agencies that will pay you directly. or pay into another account. You understand? But let's go by what is legal. Because one of the things that I tell people also is that no matter what you do in this country, be within the law. Be within the law, because the system here could be very rigid, could be very unfriendly. And these guys can be very, very unforgiving. You know, in Nigeria, if you break a law, if you plead well enough, you could be left off the hook. But that's not going to happen here. That's not going to happen here. So, what I tell people to do is that first, never live above your means. Because if you work with an average of 800 pounds a month, well, depending on where you are staying, that can hardly get you going for the month. And that's why I said much earlier that whatever job you are doing now, most likely you can't build a career on it, cannot sustain it for too long. Because most of these jobs are very restrictive, and they probably cannot keep you above board. They hardly keep you above board, not to talk of building or planning for the future on. And that's why I said, first understand the system, look at the opportunities available, at what you are doing right now in terms of academic studies, be the best you can be, because that's what will open doors for better opportunities, better jobs. You understand? And of course, we need to know that the world has changed. You can be in the UK, you can be anywhere in the world and be working remotely in other parts of the world. There are a lot of opportunities online. There are a lot of, depending on your digital skills, there are a lot of things I'm aware that people do online. There's somebody I know here right now in the UK. He does support and care, okay? But he's also into coding. So when it's off his support work, of course, you know, shifts. When it's free, he's virtually behind his laptop, working, honing his digital skills, and also making some money online. So what you need to do is to also look at streams, different streams of income. But in doing that, you should know that you need not be restricted to the UK, even though you are here, as far as the digital world is concerned. Then, of course, without, I'll give an example. Before my son came to the UK, he applied to study for a course in China. He was offered admission, but I now discovered that what some students do in China is to serve as consultants for prospective students. They assist them in getting things done. They offer them advice on how to go about things, do you understand, for a little fee. So some of you might want to think along that line, that, okay, a lot of people in Nigeria, for instance, who are interested in coming to the UK. How can I help them? How can I make the experience, the process better for them? But in the process also, earn some money. I'm in Derby right now. And when I got here, even before I got here, I learned of a Nigerian living here in Derby who runs an agency. All right, it helps Nigerians to get jobs. And of course, if you have an agency, you know how it works, you know. But before you can even try to do that, you need to first of all understand the system. You need to build your network. All right. So that's why I said earlier that focus on academics, continue your job, but open your eyes, understand how the system works, and look for other opportunities. That's what I can tell you. But of course, bills have to be paid. But then know that you're not here to impress anybody. You're not here to make any fashion statements. Live in a way that whatever income you have can conveniently maintain you and save something. But one good thing is that even though people complain that food is becoming more expensive in the UK, but it's still considerably cheap if you don't try to convert your pounds to naira. If you convert pounds to naira, it will seem to be very expensive here. But within the context of the British society, you know, if you are reasonable, food is quite cheap. And if you know where to go to, you also know where to go to get items that are considerably cheap. You understand? And of course, there again, I want to give an example. I know that in London, for instance, there's a particular store there where all kinds of food items, provisions as we call them in Nigeria, are sold. But they're not sold to individuals. For you to shop there, first you register there, you are given a card. You can earn points, and with points you can get discounts. You understand? But the only snag is that when you go there, you buy things only in bulk. You know that if wherever you are, as students in a given institution, on the platform of such an association as this, you can have a network. For instance, you can have a network. I don't want to use the word cooperative, you understand? But you can have a network that on the platform of which you can pull resources together, get certain things done for a discount. And at the end of the day, the cost will be reduced for each one of you. I hope I've been helpful, Andrew.
That was really helpful, and that was really helpful. Thank you, sir.
Is there anyone else question? We're still ready to receive the questions on the chat, or you could just signal with the raise of your hand and we'll give you the mic to ask your question. I think there are no questions for now, so I think if we could continue, President.
Lastly, since there are no other persons, lastly, I would like to ask, still on this issue of trying to become something for ourselves, and then I learned there are some rights that students have in approaching schools on employability, and then trying to see how they can come in on this issue of being the leverage between, being the intermediary between.
Could you please repeat yourself? I didn't quite get that.
So, can you hear me clearly now?
I can, yeah.
I said still on this issue of being something for ourselves, and then for the country we're coming from. I learned there are on rights that students do have, to contact the schools they belong to, on the issue of employability, and then mentorship, so as for them to be trained towards this foundation you have built for us. What advice do you have for us concerning this in approaching our schools and then trying to get all we need done?
You mean your schools in the UK?
Yes, sir.
Well, certainly, I know that virtually all schools in the UK have support services and also international offices for international students. All right. So one shouldn't be afraid to ask questions and also ask for support as much as possible. But I will also tell you the truth be told. These guys are happy to support outstanding students. That's the truth of the matter. If you're just an average student, you're not pulling your weight. You might not have many opportunities presenting itself to you. And that's why I said, do your best to be the best you can be. And that's the way you can get the best out of the system. Do your best to be the best do your best to be the best you can be. And by so doing, you get the best out of the system. But certainly, even though there are commonalities in many of the unis here in terms of the facilities and provisions for international students, but there are still marked differences, and each one will need to be clear about the support systems available in his or her own university to start with. You understand?
Thank you, sir, for that wonderful response. I just want to encourage us to use this, if you like, to open our eyes to the opportunities around us. I think Charity has her hands up. Do you have anything to say?
Yeah, yes. I would like to ask a very simple, but I don't even know if it is that simple question. But first of all, I'm very grateful. Thank you so much, sir. You've really enlightened us in a very great way. Thank you. Really appreciate. My question actually is based on when you asked us at the beginning to think about our goal, as in where we want to be and all that. I had this interest, I still have it, not had actually, this interest of helping in any way the academic sector of Nigeria, especially the science sector, like the practicals, because I am a science student and I actually came here just for this master's, and I would like to give back in any way that I can to university, even if it is one university. So I don't know if there is any advice you can give me based on that. Like if there is anything that I can do anyhow, no matter how little, to help, because we coming here for masters, like you said, is, I wouldn't say it is what we actually want. I wouldn't say is something that we are glad or so happy to be doing. We are doing it because it is an escape route. And that basically is because we are not actually getting what we're supposed to get back home. I don't know how else to put it, but that's just, is there anything, any one of us, like, is there anywhere you can help with an insight on that particular aspect? Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for your interest in improving the education sector back home. And you remember that I gave an example of a lady in mathematics studying in the UK, but got some grants and facilitated a workshop back in the University of Ibadan to share part of the knowledge gained during our course of study with colleagues back at home. Much like I can't overemphasize this. You cannot give what you don't have. For you to impact, for you to influence, for you to contribute to the development of the education sector in Nigeria, or even to contribute something to the way things are done, even at the level of your alma mater, you need to be good at what you do. You need to be good at what you do. So some of the things cannot just be wished. They have to be worked for. And like I said earlier, I will repeat it. There are a lot of opportunities here. A lot of scholarships, a lot of grants, a lot of fellowships, even for international students. One, you need to know about that. That's why I said, open your eyes, see how things work. But beyond you opening your eyes and seeing how things work, even when they are aware of some of these opportunities, you might not be able to access them if you are not top-notch. If you are not one of the best. And that's why I said, first, excel. Second thing I will say is that if you really want to influence or you want to create a fair influence for yourself back in Nigeria, perhaps starting from your home institution, what's your relationship with that institution even right now? Are you in communication with the few people there? Are you in dialogue with them? You should be. Constant communication. And even at the level of your project here, at the level of even term papers, seminar papers, depending on how your programs are structured here, you can deliberately focus on issues, on topics that will be relevant to how things work back in Nigeria. In Germany, for instance, postgraduate students are encouraged to work on projects that will take them back to their home countries for field work, for part of their research before they come back. I'm supervising a student in Leipzig University, Germany right now. But she had at a point to come back to Nigeria for her field work to gather data. Because at the end of the day, what she's doing has direct impact on Nigeria. That way, she's gradually building a network. She's laying out a foundation, speaking to an issue that is relevant to Nigeria, and by so doing, contributing to the discourse. In our own case, in the area of employability for female graduates in Nigeria. So I think that's the way to start. Excel in what you do. Open your eyes to opportunities available here. Take steps to avail yourself of these opportunities, and then consciously build and maintain a network back home, starting from your home institution. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Sorry to continue, but I would like to know, when you say having a communication with your institution back home, can you throw more light on that, please? Thank you.
Where did you graduate from?
Enugu State University of Science and Technology.
Okay. Do you have any relationship with anybody back in your university?
Relationship? No, not really. But then before I left, I got a work in a polytechnic, and they are the ones that actually sent me here. So I have a communication, so to say, with that one. But with ASUT, no, I don't. So that's what I'm trying to understand. A communication, how? I know I have asked various questions to know, but that's with students actually that are still studying in ASUT. I've asked them if anything have changed in our lab and all those things, and nothing, but that's the only thing I know. I don't have any other form of communication.
Well, even if you want, you can start with student bodies. Maintain communications with the students there, perhaps the student association. You can even choose to start with to have an interaction with them, to share your experience coming to the UK, the journey that took you from Nigeria to the UK, the process of the application, how you processed your admission, life in the UK from your own experience, and generally advise them on how to go about this. That might be a good start. You might also want to tell them, having schooled in Nigeria, having schooled in the UK, you might say that, oh, let's talk about the important differences in how things are done in Nigeria and in the UK from your own experience. Start the dialogue, and you'll be surprised how far it can go. Even you may say that, okay, having spoken with them this time, next time you want to invite somebody else to pick up another issue. And the cycle continues getting, and the cycle will continue to get bigger. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. I do understand. I do understand. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right.
Thank you, sir. We really appreciate that. There is something we normally say. Even when we're coming here, we wrote statement of purpose. And there was a time I can remember during the January, the people from our colleagues who came in January, we did a program on that, and we threw it out as a game, as a quiz. The people should talk to their statement of purpose. And Charity, who just asked question, is one of the winner in that category. And I can see she has always been inquisitive about that. And I believe she will continue on that trajectory and become something remarkable that her potential shows. I think with this junction, except there is anyone else who wants to ask any question. If there is none, I think we will have to appreciate our guest for the time. As you can see, your profile speaks. You are such a very busy person. And this is not the first time we'll be inviting you, that you answered our call. The last time on the October 1st, we called you and you answered. And now you are willing to even journey down to Cambridge with us, if not for the logistic issues. So we appreciate you for being a friend of the family. And like you've already advised us, this is another way of still communicating with our people. And then I think starting with you, we continue to relate with our both the lecturers, vice chancellors, and the students in Nigeria to continue to build the relationship. And then, like you said, We don't know where this one will take us. So we appreciate your time, sir, and we bless God for the wonderful input you have given us. So on the behalf of the association, I want to appreciate you, sir, and say thank you for your time, and God bless. Elisha, do you have a word or two to say? And then Vincent.
Oh, okay. Just to add to what you said, I really appreciate Professor. God bless you, sir. Thank you for your time and the effort towards educating us and enlightening us on these issues. Thank you very much. We're grateful, and I've really learned a lot today. Thank you very much, sir.
Vincent, are you there?
Thank you very much too for having me, and I hope I've been of some help.
Yes, I'm here. Yeah, very thank you, sir. We are very grateful, sir.
So at this junction, we want to say thank you, sir, and goodbye to everybody. We appreciate everyone who has been on the call and those who have come in, and we know how busy we are in this environment. Every hour is money. So we appreciate everybody for being on the call. And I believe we have all been blessed in one way or the other. Elisha, you want to say something before we go?
Yes, I was going to ask, sir, if it's possible, sir, can we have maybe your LinkedIn profile or just any way to follow you up officially, sir? Please, we'll do that, sir.
No problem.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye to everybody.
Now don't finish.
Yes, Ozu. You get question where you know ask since.
I want to ask when I can't talk.
Sorry.
I'm on break now. That's why I came to the staff room.
Yeah, sorry.
All
I
right.
hope you listened all through and then you were able to achieve one or two things.
I listened to, but not very much. I
It's
was
just
on like my Bluetooth.
Are you Brookfield, Jose?
No, I'm in South End Hospital. I'm coming to Brookfield on Monday.
Okay.
Hey, Vicento, the latest graduate. Come pop shop.
It's just unfortunate he didn't put in for graduation ceremony. We were about to make his own celebration big as possible.
Yeah, so he needs it because
if there is anybody who has been so wonderful in this association, he's the number one of them.
I will leave that for July.
And anyway, we are planning for the January awards, and you are number one of the awardees, so to say. So, of course, him. So he's number one of the awardees, and then during the July, of course, just make sure you prepare rice for all of us. We are bombarding your, and make sure you inform us as soon as possible, and then keep people love to be reminded. I'm sure we will. It's not going to be you alone snapping pictures. We have the whole association will snap picture with you on that day. Don't worry. We will bombard. You deserve that encomium.
Yeah.
You've been a wonderful person, so to say. And I don't think there's anybody that comes close. There's nobody comes close when it comes to that.
Okay.
So it's nice to see your face, Ozzy. And then Vincent, thank you for always being there. Like he was trying to say, he happens to be my former supervisor. And then that's one way to, like he's saying, that we should maintain communication with people at home, starting from our university. So we should, during my PhD in UI, he was my supervisor.
So this is your second PhD?
Now, I know the answer question. We don't pass question and answer.
Then your first, so this should be your second PhD.
I said it's not, we don't pass question and answering session.
into that one, leave and continue from here. I had a friend I went for September, we went for his graduation in Oxford. The people that he started masters with in Nigeria, 2019. They never even finished second semester. Throughout 220, they were never in school. They came back. Everybody State had they had their own internal strike. From there, they can't continue ASU strike, so they've not even gone anywhere. Whereas him, I've already abandoned that one. He started his in 2021 after like 2 years old, and graduated early this year.
That is what we are here to change. We can do our bit to change. That's a very sad story about our country, but I think that's what we will keep from fighting and working hard to improve. I believe if we don't relent, we are going to win eventually. It's those who relent that do not win. I can see my brother here, Temitope. Guess it's far. So thank you everyone and goodbye. We'll have to stop here.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Au revoir.